The next universal law that we're going to talk about today is the law of increase. So the law of increase states that whatever we put our attention on grows. And this is why I believe it's so important for us to celebrate our wins, celebrate what's going good for us, because as we celebrate what's good, as we celebrate what we want, as we focus on what we want, we're giving that more attention and more energy so it can grow. In terms of how our brains work, this also activates our reticular activating system. And we're going to go into a segment all about your brain very soon. But the reticular activating system, how it works is it is able to show us more of what we're already focusing on. So for example, if you were to go out and buy a black G-Wagon, all of a sudden you would seem to notice that everyone drives a black G-Wagon. You would see them all over the place. Because you were already focusing on it, now that has a place in your reticular activating system, and so your awareness is more open to that. How that relates to the law of increase is if you, let's just say, earn more money and you want to earn more money. If you're celebrating that you're earning money, if you're thinking about it, if you're excited about it, if you're focusing on how great that is and how great that feels, you'll be able to bring more in, and your brain is just going to be more opened up to opportunities to bring that into your life. Keep celebrating your successes. There's a great saying that says, praise opens a door in your mind. So keep praising, keep focusing on what it is that you want, and trust that it will increase. Whether it's a compliment, whether it's a great testimonial, know that when you focus on that, more can flow for you. It's even said that if you're trying to have some plants grow in your house, when you talk to them, when you talk about how beautiful they are, you celebrate them for their growing, they actually grow even more and even better. And I'm sure the same goes for little ones as well. And I've seen it. Don't eat that, love. I've seen it in my own life. I used to be not so great with plants. I have actually killed a few cacti, which is very embarrassing to say. But when I started talking to my plants, congratulating them, every time a new little sprout popped up of a leaf, I would say, oh my gosh, look how great it is. I would grab George to celebrate it. All of a sudden, my plants started growing so much better. And now I have plants that are a few years old, 3 or 4 years old, older than this little one for sure. And so that's an example in my life of celebrating and more great things come, as well as celebrating my team, celebrating the people in my life, and then they just enjoy being in that energy. So for yourself, and also while you're working with clients as well, people in your life, people that you care about, celebrate them, celebrate their successes, celebrate their wins, what they've done, and you'll know that you're working with the universal law, and there will be more to celebrate very soon. So the next universal law that we're going to talk about today is the law of polarity. So the law of polarity states that everything has an opposite, and this can be a way of thinking that can lead you through some tough times. If we know that every single thing has an opposite, then even when you're going through a tough time, you know that that means that there's a positive time that could appear. There's a positive time that exists because every single thing has an opposite, right? There's up and down, there's hot and cold, there's left and right. And the interesting thing to think about is an opposite isn't a different thing. It just appears as different on the same spectrum. So let's think about hot and cold. I'm Canadian, so we use Celsius as a measure of degrees. And so a hot day would be 25 degrees. And cold, a really cold day, would be negative 10 degrees. Now, when we think about it, we understand that it's not that negative 10 is the opposite of positive 25. It's just that they're on a different part of the spectrum. Yes, I agree. So if you go 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, all the way down to 0, and then all the way into the negatives, you get to negative 10, right? And so we understand that these opposites are different parts of the same thing. And when I begin to think about my problems or my struggles or my obstacles as different parts of the same thing, of what I don't want and what I do want, I'm able to see what potential lessons may be, what potential learnings may be, what potential different ways of going about something could be, healing that needs to happen within myself, boundaries that I potentially need to set, or something that I need to do different, act different, look at different. And so we can use the law of polarity as a tool. I also use this as a tool to help me get clearer on my goals. So if there's something in my life that I don't want, that is bringing awareness to me of exactly what it is that I do want, right? If like back when I wasn't happy with how much money I was making, that was very clear what I didn't want. And so I knew that it was showing me exactly what I did want. Knowing that every single thing in our lives has an equal and opposite. Think about what is the opposite of what you're going through. How can that guide you or lead you in the direction of what it is that you want? And also remember, if we can see it in our mind, we can hold it in our hand. The very fact that we can visualize and think about the opposite of what we're currently experiencing, it means that it already exists, even if it's in the spiritual, emotional, or mental realm. And as we're manifesting, we can bring that into the physical as well. So this is how much empty space exists. If all of the matter of atoms was taken and squeezed together and all the empty space was taken away, then everything that exists would be the size of a sugar cube. Okay, so now let's